afternoon. Very good afternoon. Limitless. Really, you watched that?
That's good.
It's very good, isn't it?
The one about the tablet that opens your mind up?
No, it's the Chris Hemsworth one. That's really good, isn't it? See if we can all live longer. Disney. 6 episodes. Oh, did you? Oh no, it's really good. Very good.
Nice one. Alright guys, so nothing live during the first section, and then that's finished with the papers, and as it's the BBC game, sorry Dan, we'll start with that.
Hi Brendan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just wondered if I could start by clearing up a few injuries, if that's okay. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall went off in the warm-up against Fulham. How's he doing?
Yeah, obviously both him and Bubba highly unlikely available for this weekend, but we're just waiting clarification really on the time scale that those guys might be out. So, but certainly for the weekend they wouldn't be available.
Okay. Patson Daka, how's he doing with that hamstring spasm? I think you said.
Yeah. Well, he trained obviously with the medical team last few days, and he was out with the group today. So and looked very good. So hopefully all been well, and we'll see later on today and tomorrow what how he's recovered after the session. But yeah, thankfully for us and for him, it didn't seem as bad as what it seemed at the time.
Dennis Pratt was another who got that knee in his side. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's coming along very well. Mobilised his side a lot over these last few days, and was doing like a clearing session today with the medical and the rehab team. So he was out on the grass. So he's doing very well, and we'll see how he is tomorrow.
Final one in James Maddison. How is he recovering from that knee problem? I know you said he had come back from the specialist, and it seemed like good news. Yeah,
I just think it's slow at the moment with James. We have to go day by day on that. I think I said at the time we'd he wouldn't be this week, but we'll see how he is for next week. But it's a day by day thing with James, and so we're hopeful that sooner rather than later he'll be back, but certainly won't be for the weekend.
Any fresh injuries ahead of the weekend?
No, I think that's the frustrating thing for us. I think it's documented we had 9, but we get 5 of those that are, really injuries that you can't really do much about. The Achilles is the 2 injuries we had with them. The knee with Ryan Bertrand's been long term, and then the other guys. So 5 of those are difficult ones with James and Dennis as well. To the other 3, the other 4, like you say, with Patson, he's back now. Thankfully, not as bad, and the others will just have to wait and see.
With 5 days into the January transfer window now, Brendan, how are the club progressing with bringing in the targets, maybe in the identified positions that you made?
Yeah, working very hard behind the scenes to look to get in the type of players that we want to bring in. So yeah, nothing to report today, but certainly I know there's a lot of work going on in order to help the squad.
How quickly do you want to move forward from this point in the window to get those players in?
Listen, every manager will tell you wants them right at the very beginning of the window, but it's never as easy as that. It's it's normally complex, and there's a lot of work that has to go on behind the scenes before the players come in. So that's what the club are trying to do, but hopefully we can do that.
Is it about setting expectations, do you think, with yourself and maybe the fans as well, around patience when it comes to bringing these players in? Because as you say, I know you wouldn't have wanted them in on the first day, and I think the fans probably would have as well.
Yeah, it's just understanding the dynamics of it all, and like I said, from a coaching perspective and management perspective, you always you would want them in on the first day of the year, of course, and the supporters. The supporters. They've virtually had one outfield signing to talk about in the last couple of windows. So they know and can probably see that the team needs that reinforcing as well. So but behind the scenes, there's still work to do on the players that we want to bring in. But hopefully, if we can do that, then it'll be great news for the supporters as well.
Brendan, the FA Cup is a competition you've got a deep connection with this football club because of what happened a couple of years ago. What are the expectations that you and the group have set forward for this competition this season?
Well, I think in the both competitions that we're in, we want to go as far as we can. And like I've always said here in my time, that we want to win every cup competition that we're in. So we arrive into the game on Saturday against a team that, okay, Gillingham, they maybe haven't done as well as what they've liked in the league, but certainly in the cup competitions they've made it very difficult for Premier League teams. So you go away in this competition, you have to be strong, you have to be aggressive, and you have to be very professional in your job, and that's what we aim to do. So we get a cup game at the weekend, one on Tuesday night, and where we can, we want to go as far as we can.
Where Leicester City are as a club, how important is it to continually fight for silverware in the domestic cup competitions, with holding on to players, bringing new players in, and the continued growth?
No, that's very important. I think it's the ambition of everyone here, and it's getting more difficult at this level in this league. The financial resources that are available now, not just in the top 6 clubs, but a number of other clubs beyond that, makes it really, really difficult. You get clubs with multiple injections of finance and money, where clubs can draw on those resources, where we have one owner and one family that does amazing for this football club. But each year it gets tougher. So, but that doesn't soften our ambition to be the best that we can, and to be super competitive, and that's something that we'll always look to be.
Final one from me, Brendan, but on those finances that you just mentioned, I mean, if you win the FA Cup, that puts you straight into the Europa League group stages. I suppose, and I wonder whether that puts heightened importance perhaps on the FA Cup, because of what that competition finance-wise can bring in to the football club, and having that European football.
Yeah, it wouldn't put any more or less. I think it's the cup competition you're in, and for every one that we go into, we want to win it. So the qualification for Europe and everything else, that's all a consequence of doing well in it. We're in it because we want to win it. Would love to do it again. We've had that magical season and day, and but we want to keep writing the new history here at the club, and have more magical moments. So and the cup competitions, of course, give us the opportunity to do that. So we go there at the beginning of our journey, and hopefully we can, as it gets through, and keep progressing.
Brendan, thank you very much. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks.
Johnny, hi Brendan.
Hi.
Does the fact that you've won the cup in the past, and you have a relationship with that cup, you have held it, you've probably drank from it, does it make it more kind of special to you? Does it put any higher in the priorities?
Well, no, the feeling was amazing on the day, and like I said, when you do anything for the first time, it always is really special and feels great, and at that time it was. So yeah, it started the journey of winning here, and the feeling of winning for a lot of the players, and to win a cup competition. So we that's big in our mindset coming into each season. So this and the cup again, the quarter-final on Tuesday night, these are important games for us, and we want to go and show that accordingly.
Usually a game in the FA Cup third round against lower league opposition will be an opportunity to rotate, use the full extent of your squad. Do you still have that luxury with the amount of injuries you've got at the moment?
Well, we'll pick a team that we believe can win the game. It's important. We obviously have to bear in mind that we have a game on Tuesday night as well, and then we've got a game on Saturday, and we've got other games to follow. But we'll always put out a team that is there to win the game. And we'll look at doing that, and we'll have another day or so just to assess the guys, so that we're not putting any risk at them to any more injuries. So yeah, but the team that we'll put out will be strong, and there to win the game.
Does a successful cup run go hand in hand with perhaps transferring that kind of form back into the league? Can the two kind of help each other?
Yeah, no, it absolutely can do. I go back to my first job, remember, at Watford, and we had I'd only gone in there, and it was the quarter final of a cup. But then we had a nice few games in the FA Cup, and that spurred us on in the league as well. So I think it's an opportunity. It builds confidence, and of course it keeps you playing games. So when you want to play as many games as you possibly can.
Even at the moment, with all of these games at the moment, all the injuries that you've got, I guess it's great that you're in these competitions, but the fact that you go on Saturday, Tuesday, East Midlands, Derby, you've got to be in Gillingham for lunchtime, that type of thing.
Yeah, but that's why you play. That's why you work. I think it's unfortunate at this time we've picked up the injuries, but we have to continue playing and fighting. And if you want to do well and you want to have the opportunity to win these cup competitions, then of course you need to go deep in them, and for that you need to win. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a big challenge, of course, when you have, but like I've said before, challenges are there to be overcome, and we'll look to overcome the challenges that we have at the moment.
Thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Cheers, Charlie. We'll get to Dan.
Afternoon, Brendan.
Very good afternoon.
Just wanted to ask you what the mood like is in the team compared to maybe earlier in the season when you went through a similar run.
Yeah, it's different. I think the beginning of the season it was challenging, and we weren't getting the results. We then came through that period, so we've shown that we have that solidarity within the squad, and like I said, 2 of our performances out of the 3 probably merit it more than the results that have been. So I'll always focus on the process of that. But I also understand we have to win games, and we should have had results in the last 2 games and didn't have them. So, but no, listen. You always have to have that optimism, and like I said, the one thing that will never change from us will be the constant work to improve and be better. And the players have the similar feeling as well.
I know you said earlier this season as well, when the window was open in the summer, that because of players' contract situations and just the window being open, it can make it a bit difficult. Are you worried that it could be a distraction again in January at all?
No, I can't afford to worry about that. Listen, it's always a challenging situation if you get one player that's out of contract. We've got 7 players, so that is always a challenge. However, the one thing you need to have in your squad is a spirit, and these players have got a great spirit amongst each other, and we'll continue to, like I said, we'll try to look to overcome the challenges, whether it's contracts or whether it's form, and just keep working and keep fighting.
You said it just earlier in this press conference about getting tougher every year. How do you as a manager, head coach, adapt to that kind of financial restriction every year, and also just as a coach?
Well, that's the great challenge in it. It has changed, and I've been here nearly 4 years in February, and in that period of time, it has changed. But what hasn't changed here is the club. In relation to, there's great people here. The players have always given everything, but like I said, the competition now is even greater. But as a coach and a manager, those are the challenges that you've got to try and overcome and do the very best that you possibly can.
I know you said the club are working on incomings, but do you imagine any players could be leaving the club, but maybe before the Forest game?
Possibilities. There's players that may look to play, but in order for that, teams have to want those players. So it's a bit of both, really. It's we get some young players that may need some loans and whatnot, but what we'll see as we go through the window.
Okay.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, Dan. Is there any others for that section? We'll move into the section for the papers.